Mr. Shvan, if you are ready, I think we can start and people will probably join within few minutes.
All right, perfect. I can start now. For those of you who, if you guys haven't met me before, my name is Shvan. I hope my webcam is working so you can see me. I'll be turning that off for the purpose of the presentation in a bit, but just want to say hi, everyone. Savo, do you want me to start or do you want to give an introduction, then I start?
No, I will start with introduction and then give you the go ahead.
Perfect.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 51 Labs CEO Talk. I'm Savo Bakhtiar, a senior coordinator at 51 Labs. So my guess is you are here because you most probably are interested in entrepreneurship or you are an entrepreneur and would love to hear people's success stories, learn from their mistakes. So our goal with these CEO Talk series that we arrange is to introduce you to amazing and successful CEOs and founders to learn about their business journey, tips and tricks, obstacles they face. This helps you actually start your own journey with a bit of knowledge. Our guest today is someone who have been involved in community management, media productions since he was a teenager. So he started young. He actually started by establishing the first online Kurdish community and online station for the Kurdish immigrants in the UK and Europe. He is someone who holds a bachelor degree in media technology and master's degree in international marketing. And he currently manages a creative agency called BrickLane, you might heard of, which is made of a team of multinationals that help brands in Iraq to find their purpose and communicate with their audience in a meaningful way. They have an amazing client profile that they worked with. I'm pretty sure you have already seen some of their work. So without any further ado, please help me in welcoming Mr. Shvan Omer, the CEO and the founder of BrickLane company. Mr. Shvan.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Shvan Omer, as Sava Khan just mentioned, and I'll be taking you through a small presentation that I've prepared for you. I'm not sure what the format is when it comes to these CEO talks. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube of 51 Labs that were the previous CEOs that have done it before, but I decided to do something a little bit different. And basically throughout my talk, I'll be taking you through a presentation. And the presentation comes in 4 sections, or 4 journeys, let's say. I'll talk a bit about my background a little bit further and where I've worked, what I've studied, and so on. And because this also helped drive my ambition and passion for what I do now. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about the Iraqi market in general, which I think we can all relate to. And what were the problems that an agency like BrickLane could solve or can offer in a market like this. And then I'm going to give you a bit of a small tip of my own if you're into opening your own company or if you just started one, what you should do, what you should look at, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So I'll start with basically my own background. I was born in Sulaimane, Kurdistan. From an age of around 10 years old, I moved to UK where I lived and where I did my education. I have a bachelor's degree in media technology. I have a HND, Higher National Diploma in Digital Media Production. And then I did a master's degree in international marketing. In the UK, I worked for 2 companies. One was an IT company called Expressive ICT. I was a junior sales coordinator. It was my first ever job. And then I moved to Swiss Bank where I became a product developer. Basically, what we were doing there was advising businesses and companies on the type of loans they could take, how they could plan their financials, so they could, fund their projects better, how they could save cost here and there. I was still a junior, I was still young, but it was a more sophisticated job to do, and that's where I learned a lot of things. And then comes 2012, 13, let's say, I decided to move back to Kurdistan because at the time the economy was booming, the situation was really improving. I felt like I can do my part to contribute to the success that was happening, and also take advantage of the newfound opportunities that I could have. So I came back to Kurdistan. I joined an internet company as a marketing manager called Elsa Fiber, which some of you might have heard of, some of you might not. It's one of the backbone internet providers in the country. Basically, they don't sell directly to end users like us. What they do is they supply the ISPs like IQ Online, Fastlink, Tishiknet, and so on. So they provide the backbone internet. They're the ones who make the deals from Europe all the way to here. And then as an end user, we use the local ISPs that we have. After a few years, I moved to a company called Leo Burnett. Leo Burnett is an international creative agency. It was founded in Chicago long time ago by a very genius guy called Leo Burnett. So the company is named after him. Leo Burnett is usually considered as the second biggest creative agency in the world. We had an office in Kurdistan in Slemani, and we had many international and local clients, but most of those clients were big brands, because Leo Burnett is not any just normal agency. They're an international agency. Their fees are very high when they work with companies, but also the amount of experience, expertise, and tools they bring to those clients is basically on another level. So only the bigger brands could afford services of companies like Leo Burnett. I joined Leo Burnett as a communication manager. My job was to handle some accounts that were assigned to me, namely AsiaCell, Lavarch, and Goranet. After Europe, I became the country manager of Leo Burnett, and I managed the office up until its closure in 2020 January. Because of the economic situation, because of COVID, the agency did no longer want to be in Iraq, so they decided they will close the Iraq office. However, they still do have like, I think about 120 offices around the world. During my time in Leo Burnett, I was exposed to the other side of businesses. So previously, I was working as a product developer, as a sales coordinator, then as a marketing manager. So my job had always been about creating products, finding ways to sell them to customers or clients. But when I joined Leo Burnett, I went to the other side of the business, where you actually get the product from your client or the business, and you find ways to communicate it to people. So, I mean, we always saw advertising as a very, very simple thing. You just create a visual, you create a picture, you create a billboard, and you do a TVC and you put it on TV, and there you go, that's it. And this was always my understanding of communication, because I was never really in a creative agency before, even though at university you studied, at your work as a marketeer you come across agencies, but until you actually work there, you will never know how important communication is, and the effect it can have on businesses and companies the same. So I was in Leo Burnett for about 6 years. Once we closed down, I decided to open my own creative agency called BrickLane, and it was a good opportunity for me to do that, because when Leo Burnett closed, the international team that was working in Leo Burnett all of a sudden all found themselves jobless. They didn't have work to do, and some of these people are international. We have people from Canada, we had people from Lebanon, Syria, we had people from within Iraq and Baghdad, and so on. So we had a very good multinational team that was all of a sudden out of job. So what I did was I created BrickLane, and I brought the team here. So the team that has made BrickLane is actually a team that used to be Leo Burnett. So this, as BrickLane, we aim to provide the same quality of service as we did back in Leo Burnett. So moving forward, I'll take you through to what is happening in the Iraqi market right now. I think most of you can relate to this. And then I'll take you to how we have built BrickLane in a way that is like Leo Burnett, but it is a bit more localized, whereby it addresses the needs of the people in the market and the businesses as well. So if you look at Iraq from the media point of view, if you look at it from another country or from far away, what you see is it's all chaos. You know, we have political issues, we have security issues, we have economic issues. The country is basically in ruins as a whole. And by the way, I'll be using the word Iraq a lot because even though I know you're in Kurdistan, but we're all part of the country Iraq, and we all have the same issues that we face every day. So I've taken the market in general as a country. So if you look at it this way, everything looks bad in Kurdistan or in Iraq. We don't believe there's going to be a brighter future. We don't believe things are going to get better anytime soon. So it's basically chaos and disaster. However, sorry about this. Something happened. Contrary to what we see on the media, on TV and all that, there is still quite good things happening in the country. You know, there is modernization. There is a very connected youth. You have a lot of people trying out different innovative ideas when it comes to business. So we are trying. We are in a struggle, but we are trying, and things are actually happening. And Iraq is one of the most connected countries in the region. 75% of the Iraqi population is connected to the internet. So somehow we know what's going on around the world. We know what's happening around the globe, and we want that too. We want whatever is, you know, is cool and trendy and happening in Europe, America, Britain, and so on. We want to be part of it, and you can tell that by for example, there was the ice bucket challenge, water bottle challenges, whatever trend we see happening in other countries, we also see it happening here. So Iraqis are not, or Kurds are not, you know, disconnected, unaware people. We are aware of things and we want better. And this is something important for the businesses that operate in this country to know, because from what I see, when it comes to communication and product and the level of service we provide, it is very, very substandard. It's very, very bad. And then when you ask the business owners, why do you do this? They say, oh, well, because this is all people know. This is what they deserve. This is enough for us. So that even though the younger people are trying to innovate, to be different, to have something better, we're a bit let down by the people who actually have the power to make the decisions. Another thing that when it comes to businesses is bad in the country is lack of international businesses or international brands, because international brands can really influence the local companies, the local brands that we have. We can try to imitate them. We can, I mean, they create competition and they operate on a much higher standard. So what you would have is basically you would create a competitive market where the local brands will be trying to compete with the international ones for quality, for service, and so on. But unfortunately, we don't have that many international brands in the country. For example, a short survey we did for one of our clients a while back, we found, for example, one of the largest malls in Iraq, Family Mall, the chain, out of 140 shops that they have in one mall, only 25 of them are internationally known brands, and half of that are not actually the brand themselves. It's just someone who brought their products and, you know, branded the shop the way that it looks like an international brand, but is actually not. So what's happening is that we have a situation in the country, a market that does not resemble the people. The people want better. They're requesting better things. They're requesting you know, high quality services, better customer care, more product variety, and so on, but we're not really seeing that. So in a way, the market does not resemble the people. So what this has done is the market in Kurdistan, people don't have loyalty towards any brand in the country. For example, today you're a customer of a certain restaurant, tomorrow you're going to change, you're a customer of a certain product. It can be, for example, Asiacell, Correc, or Zain. You have any of these SIM cards. If the other one decides to give you a better offer, you easily move to it. There's nothing called brand loyalty. Businesses also, they don't care about the customers. They just care about making as much money as they can and as quickly as they can. The ones that do kind of try to do what international brands do, actually do it in a very bad way. It's a very bad imitation of the international brands themselves. For example, people tried before to work like an international brand, or they try to bring products from an international brand and sell it here, or a certain service, but they really just go back to running it the way they've been running it before. So things are not as good as they can be. As having said that, not everything is bad. There is progress, as we've said, but it's a bit slow. But it is actually happening. What we can conclude here is that the relationship between consumers and local brands in this country is purely transactional. It's based on, I need this, can you provide it today? And they say, yes, I will provide you. Tomorrow someone does better in terms of price or quality, you move straight to that new brand. So there's no loyalty, there's no affinity, people feel detached. The brands see basically consumers as a quick win, and consumers see brands as a temporary provider until a better one comes along. So basically what we're left with is a transactional relationship where there is no loyalty. The customers are very elusive. That level of satisfaction is very mediocre. So basically, we as people don't have trust in the brands and the market when it comes to our daily needs. Something we use a lot in communication is called translating things into human insight. So basically, what's happening? How do you sum all this up? How do you conclude it all in one? What we can say is consumers in Kurdistan or Iraq are forced to settle for the second best option and never the best, because you can really never get the best. So what you do is you settle for the second best thing that is happening. Now, before I move to my second part of the presentation, the third part, where we say where BrickLane actually helps in changing this, I want to say we do have the necessary tools. We do have the necessary resources as a country and as businesses, and we have the necessary manpower and experience and knowledge to actually change this, to have a market that is in line with what people need. But it's just that nobody has done it before, and nobody is willing to do it because they don't know better. And this is basically the role of creative agencies to help make these changes. And until we get into a culture of where businesses hire consultancy companies like creative agencies for communication, product development, we will be stuck with what we have. We will always be in this transactional way of the market. So before I dig further into BrickLane, I want to tell you what a creative agency is. Now, some of you might know, some of you might not. The reason I say this is because the concept of creative agency is kind of new to us in this country. A creative agency is basically an agency that specializes in strategizing your marketing and sales objectives. So as a company, you have products you want to sell, you have services you want to sell. And how do you sell them? Well, you've created these products, but how do you actually communicate it to people in a meaningful way? So we always, whenever I talk about this, I give a very simple example. You can talk about features, or you can talk about benefits when you're communicating your products. Features is like how Samsung does their communication. They tell you the screen is AMOLED, it has this much refresh rate, the CPU is 1 gigahertz, the RAM is 2 gigabytes, and blah, 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 and so on. And then by the time you have read all that, you've forgotten what the phone actually does for you. Versus the Apple way of doing things, where they don't tell you, I have this CPU, it has this gigahertz, this much RAM, this much battery, and so on. What they do is they just tell you, this iPhone takes the best picture. This iPhone takes the the best videos. It has the longest battery life. They don't even talk about their competition. They don't even compare themselves to anyone, and they don't give you numbers. They just give you benefits. So because what does 8 gigabits of RAM mean to anyone? For most of us, it means nothing. But when you tell them you can open 10 applications at the same time, then I'm like, okay, now I know what you're saying. So this is the help. This is usually done with the help of creative agencies that find human insights, or they find the triggers in people, and they sell the product to you in a way that you would understand it, and it would make you, go out there and do something about the product that you see. Otherwise, you'll be just left with, if you don't have a creative agency, you'll be just left with the type of communication that we see every day. For example, if you look at the ISPs that we have, like Tishiknet, Fastlink, and Goranet, and Nowruz 4G, what do they all say? I am the fastest, I am the unlimited. Okay, and what else? There's nothing beyond that. They just say, I'm the fastest, I'm the most reliable, and anybody can claim these things. These are features, these are not benefits. So what do I do with the fastest internet? What am I supposed to do with unlimited internet? You need to basically educate the people. Most people in Iraq and Kurdistan think internet is made out of Facebook. People actually search on Facebook for things instead of searching on Google. So you have a very, while the people are connected, most of them are unaware of the benefits of internet. And it's the role of a brand to go beyond the basic service and actually contribute to society, to go beyond that. Or you're selling SIM cards, fine, but what else? Everybody can sell SIM cards, everybody can sell internet, everybody can sell a product or service, but what is it on top that you're offering that's going to differentiate you with from the competition and get people to love you and your brand? For example, if you look at Nike as a brand, you never see them talk about their products. In most of their TVCs, you don't even see any shoes or any trainers, nothing. All you see is people, because they believe everybody is an athlete, and that's what they believe. They have this purpose that everybody is an athlete. They just have to go out there and do it. So that's why they have the tagline, just do it. So it doesn't matter whether you're fat, you're slim, you're short, you're tall, you're powerful, you're weak. You all have the ability to do something or to do better. So just go on there and do it. And they don't even tell you do it without trainers or without shoes. They just say go and do it. Yet you have so many people who are addicted and love the brand. Why? Because they stand for something that we can all relate to. And basically these things are all being done by creative agencies that have people who work in specialized fields that help you. Basically, as a company, if you look at the type of communication you need to do for your products and services, or the type of marketing tactics you need to use, you have products, you have a brand to manage, you have your sales to manage, you have media to manage, you have to create logo identity, you have to improve your shopper experience, your social media management, your PR and CSR activities if you're doing them. And doing all this with a team in-house inside the company is very hard, because you will have to hire teams of expertise in each field. The reason working with creative agencies is better is because the creative agencies is already made out of all this expertise. They already have these specializations. So as a client, you come to them, they're ready. They can offer you all in one without you needing to hire people, needing to buy in tools. We have experts in creative concept creation, in brand strategy, improving your marketing, sales, media booking. If you, as a brand, want to do some PR related activities, or do you want to do any CSR, which you should, every brand should do to give back to society, whatever you need, the agency will have and can offer you already. And there are many tools that agencies use which companies cannot afford. Tools like Crimson Hexagon, like social tools like Google GDN, Facebook Business Manager, Keyhole. These are tools that agencies have become experts in. They form partnerships with, and they sell we buy these accounts, we buy these services, and we offer it back to our clients at a very discounted rate, because I will be buying one account per platform, but then I can manage multiple clients on it. But if you're a business yourself and you wanted to buy all these tools, it would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you would have to train your team on it and so on. So basically, all brands worldwide, the big ones, even small ones in the developed world, they hire creative agencies because they get all the expertise they need, they get all access to all the platforms they need without having to invest a lot or go with the hassle and headache of having to train people and buying tools and all that. Another thing that makes creative agencies very good is when you hire a creative agencies have clients in multiple industries. So you have telecom, automotive, FMCG, and everything else. So when you're hiring them, you're hiring people with a broad range of experience. They will not be just, expertise in one field of work. They will have tried many, and they will have access to data of all the clients so they can use it for one another. So this is what basically makes creative agencies the best choice for brands. When it comes to BrickLane, basically, as I mentioned before, BrickLane is comprised of a team of creative communication experts. The former Burnett team is here, and we have international, local people. And most of us have worked with international agencies before, namely Leo Burnett, JWT, TWA, DDB, and BBDO. These are the leading creative agencies around the world. So, and we're very passionate people about the work we do, and we want to help brands in this country change from being a transactional, brand to a emotional and motivational brand, one where clients or customers can stick to because they serve a purpose. They don't just sell; they have a purpose for their existence. Moving into the experience that we've had ourselves, we work with HSL, Samsung. These are just some of the ones: Lavar, Jeep, National Bank of Iraq, Farouk Holding, Philip Morris, the great company, Kareem, which is the taxi company, as Insurance, Renault, and many others. So basically, to sum things up, we really passionate about changing the way we see the market in Iraq or Kurdistan, let's say, and we want to help brands change that. So we found that through our research and through the many years of working at Leo Burnett, the market in Kurdistan, while it is full of products, it is full of businesses, it is still not developed to a level that would be on par with the market in other countries. So we want to help brands basically change this type of thinking, this type of working. Right now we're working with a few new clients, and this is the first thing we tell them. It's never really about the money for us. It's about making a change, making an impact. We don't want to just take that. We don't want to be transactional like the others. So while there are other companies that work, let's say in a creative field, but some might be thinking the same transactional way of working as the ones we are trying to avoid and actually change. So that's what makes Leo Burnett different. Now, I'm going to slowly, very quickly take you through some suggestions and advice I have for people who are doing startups, young entrepreneurs, and then after that, if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. But that would be the end of my presentation as we go along. There's a very nice quote by Leo Burnett himself, Mr. Leo Burnett, who invented, or let's say founded the Leo Burnett agency. He has a very, very powerful advice. Is what helps people helps business. So when you start a business, you should think about what are you doing? How are you helping people? Because if you find a way to help people, you're finding a way for your business to succeed. Any business idea can look good on paper, but you actually have to find out how is it that actually helping business people. How is it helping people? And by people, we don't just mean people. Even if your company is a corporate company, you're serving corporate clients like we do. At the end of the day, you're still serving people, you're still serving humans, and you need to find a way how you can make their lives easier. So with that in mind, this is my own experience and this is my own opinion of businesses. They should be found on either of these two pillars. You either do number one or you do number two. Either you address an existing need or you create a need. And I'll give you examples of those. For example, at the time when we had Nokia as the king of mobile phones in the world, and everybody was happy. You just needed to make phone calls. You needed to browse the web a little bit, you know, the basic web. You wanted to listen to music. You wanted a battery that lasted you 10 days. You needed to basically stay in communication with people. And Nokia provided that beautifully. They had the best phones ever with the smartest features and all that. So Nokia was answering a need, addressing an existing need in the market for people to stay in touch. However, things like Apple happened, things like iPhone, where they created a need. They came out with a product that was completely different. Nobody thought they need a smartphone the way it is. Nobody thought they need a big screen, but a battery that lasts you only half a day or a day maximum. Nobody thought they need that. So Apple came out and created a need. They told you, no, you don't need this, or you need this, but you don't need it that much. You actually need more screen, and you need openness. You need to be able to download apps that will enhance your experience. And before that, nobody had thought of it. Nobody thought they needed, and nobody ever cared. So this is an amazing example of creating a need or answering a need. And then I'll move to another thing, very smart thing that Apple did. Then smartphones came and they became very, very popular. And then it just became a need. Having a smartphone became a need. It was no longer creating a need. You knew you needed a smartphone. You can't survive on a feature or a dumb phone, as they call it. And then Apple came and created a need for a bigger phone, or what we call tablets or iPads, for example. Why do you need an iPad? Why does anybody need an iPad? What is it that a phone can do that an iPad cannot? Nobody thought of it. Nobody wanted it. But then when Apple came out with it and showed what you can do, it's all of a sudden you feel like, oh no, I need this in my life. And then they come out with smart watches, and then they come out with all the other things that they're coming out with. So these are just very basic examples of, you know, when you start a business, you have to think about, are you addressing a need or are you creating a need? This is the simple question. And whether it's a product you're selling, whether it's a service you're selling, you have to answer one of those two questions, and that's how you can plan your things accordingly. With that, I would like to thank you for your time. I hope I didn't bore you to death. And if you have any questions or anything you want to ask, I'm here.
Thank you so much. This was really interesting and informative. Anyone that would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. Or if you would like to just write it down in the chat box, please feel free. This session was recorded, so we will definitely send it to you, to everyone who participated after the session and once it's uploaded on our YouTube. So in case you missed any part, don't worry, you can always go back to it. But since we have a couple of more minutes, please feel free to ask any question that you have.
Sarah is raising her hand. Sarah, you can talk.
Thank you for your session. It was really helpful. And I was wondering to ask a question that's facing me a lot while I'm working in a company. I'm just a simple employee, okay? So maybe I'm working in a part that related to marketing. coordinator or some kind of stuff. So sometimes I get involved with the sales team. So they ask me to, you have to sell many more, for example, automotive. Okay, we have an automotive company. So they asked me to sell 100 automobile in this year because we have many more receiving vehicle in the beginning of the year or this. So what should I have to do for this and what strategy? But I followed every way. For example, social media and campaign, event, everything is done. So
Okay.
what should I have to do for the rest, for what they asked from me? Because I'm a simple employee. I don't have any more experience in this field. I just want to face this problem. Actually, to be honest, I searched a lot, and campaign is the last way I found it. So if you have anything, please, I will be
Sure.
appreciating. Thank you.
Of course. Honestly, I think in this situation, we also deal with the automotive, by the way, so we have a lot of experience in that. For me, I would say this is two-sided. One side is you're not responsible of. The other side, you are. Usually automotive companies, when they import cars, they should have done their studies. So I know this is the market, I know this is my target, and I know I can sell at least this many cars this year or within next year and so on. So you buy your products from abroad or you import them based on facts and figures, and then you give it to your sales team. The sales team obviously does the selling, the marketing team does the marketing for those products. One thing I can tell you is telling people you have this car is not enough, because we're going back to the same transactional thing. We're going back to saying, my car is the best, my car is the most reliable, my car is the fastest, my car is the cheapest or even more luxurious if you're going to go to the premium brands. And people will be like, so what? Okay, you're saying I'm the fastest, he's saying I'm the fastest. In automotive, what we found is what makes a difference is not, you can't change things in a day. You have to start giving services beyond the car and beyond the car service. We're not talking about discounts and things like that here because quite frankly, I'm against discount. Discount is the easiest tool any marketeer will go to when they need to sell or sell more. They just go on discount. It doesn't require any thinking. You just lower the price and hope people will catch it. But this damages the brand. But for automotive, what you do is, for example, what we did for Renault was in Baghdad, and the rest was we started to tell people because, well, there has to be issues why people are not buying this car. For example, in case of Renault Iraq, the issues we were facing was people thought Renault is a French car. It's bad. It's not made for Iraq. It's not going to survive the summer here. It's going to survive the winter here. It's not going to, I know, what do the French know about building cars? It's a European car. It will break down easily and so on. So through a series of campaigns and services that we suggested to the brand, we managed to increase sales a lot. The first thing we did was we wanted to tell people these cars are built for Iraq, not in a way they're specifically built for the country, but they are built to withstand this. So while we made that claim, what we also did was we highlighted the guarantee that we give a lot. And through research, we found out people don't buy a Renault, not because they don't like it, but because they're afraid it will break down. So we found an issue. One of the issues with people was this: they said, Renault cars break down, so we gave them guarantees, and we highlighted that we're giving you guarantees for this many years or extended warranty and so on. Another thing we did was we created the Renault app for them. So every Renault owner could log in, could check the status of their service. We would send them reminders. And what this did was, let the Renault owners share their experience with other people. And then also something else we did was we did a campaign where we brought, I don't know if you guys know, but Renault was the 3 times champion in Formula 1 in the world. So they built the fastest Formula 1 car in the world. So what we did was we talked with Renault France. We imported one of their used, or let's say not working, Formula One cars, and we placed them in the showroom. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but we invited people in Baghdad to come and check it out and see it. And this made, help people change their perception. One other issue we had with the automotive, with Renault, that we solved was people always compared us to Kia and Hyundai, and they should, because the price range is the same. So if I have to buy a Renault symbol for $12,000, I can buy a Kia, and that will last me more. And also the resale value will even be higher. So how do you go back against this? What we did was we developed a strategy whereby you could buy these cars in installment. So we gave people financial incentives. In this case, you want a Kia, but you can't afford it. Why not come buy a Renault? It's the same thing. It gives you the same features, and you can even buy it on installment. So there's many, many, many different solutions you have to try. But first, you have to know what exactly is the issue. And sometimes the issue isn't marketing or sales, it's just basically market saturation. Sometimes the market has had enough of this product or service. You just simply cannot sell more. You've made an error somewhere in the purchasing, in the marketing plan. But you need to basically find out what the issue is. You have to do research. That's the first thing. Why are people not buying? And then look at where do these people actually buy or they search. For example, when it comes to cars, most people, they go and ask their friends, or they go to the street dealers. That's where they ask for advice on what cars to buy. They don't go straight to a dealership or a showroom to buy a car. We're still very much, what we call this is I think it's called dual market, where you have your gray market and you have the official market, which is with the car companies. And the gray market is the winner here. People go there. So, and in fact, this was one of the strategies for 2020 for Renault to do, was to go and make deals with these gray market influencers to help sell Renaults more. So we would go to a normal showroom or a guy on the street who is popular with selling cars. We tell him, recommend Renault cars and get this much commission, for example. So you basically have to find out what exactly is the issue. How are people buying your product? How are they seeing it? Where are they seeing it? What influences their decision? And then you team up with a communication agency or a company, and you create a campaign that targets those people in specific. And you always have to be specific in your targeting, because if you just do your communication all over the place, target everybody at the same time, you'll be wasting your money. You need to find out who is most likely to buy your car and target those. And I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much. I think we have Srut also raised his hand. Please go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Shvan, and thank you
Hello.
for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'm a participant in the 5-1 Labs entrepreneurship program, and
Sure.
I'm in the incubator period of the program. Actually, I do have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
If there were not for the Lebanese pullout from Iraq, would you have started your agency?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Considering that you had a good ground with the previous Lebanese employees, would you have started without them, like all of it on your own?
No, I would not have. And I had that option and I didn't. I'll tell you a little bit about the way the company works. I could have started on my own and with maybe just one or two other people, but I didn't feel like starting small. I didn't feel like starting small. So what I did was I went to an investor. I got the funds I needed to operate an agency as big as Leo Burnett. And that's the only way I would have done it. I didn't want to start small. I didn't want to start having to fight for small clients and small businesses, because we are past that. You know, as when you've been handling big clients and big companies for so many years, you can't go back to to starting small and starting all over again. You just don't have the, you just can't. It would be a waste of. It would be compared to the smaller agencies that exist in the country, and your fees and your services and everything would be compared to them, and they would work out maybe cheaper and better and more efficient because they have less running costs, they have less salaries to pay, they may have substandard equipment. So I didn't want to go through all of that. I wanted to go back to the top from day one. So I made a business plan. I went to an investor. I told them this is an opportunity for us to start now. I would like you to be part of this. And thankfully they accepted, and that's how I started. If you for me, I love Leo Burnett. It's the best place I've ever worked at in my life. The things I learned there, I could have never ever learned anywhere. So I would have never left Leo Burnett to open my own agency if Leo Burnett still existed in Iraq. I mean, they offered me to go to Jordan or Dubai, but I didn't want to leave the country here. So I wanted to stay here because the impact we were making here was what I loved about the work. You know, it's a very infant market. It's a market that is in the beginning of improving. So you can make a lot more impact here than you can make in other places. So for me, it's my passion for making a change that I wanted to stay with Leo Burnett Iraq, and it was my passion to start BrickLane after seeing the same passion, the same reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you said that all of your team are foreigners, right?
No, not all of them. We have local and we have foreigners. Basically, whether we like it or not, we as locals, as Kurds or even Arabs from Baghdad and so on, we don't have the same expertise or exposure as the people have had in Lebanon, Dubai, France, and so on for so many years. So you need these people to help and guide the team until you can promote your own people internally to take over. So it's a mix.
I know, but like when advertising a product, there are some things locally you should consider. Do you think a foreign team will be able to advertise a local product to its like maximum extent?
Yes, I do, because first of all, the foreigners have been living in Kurdistan for 10 years now, so they are almost Iraqis. They just don't have the passport. That's the first thing. And we've traveled all over the country together. We've gone to Mosul right after Daesh. We went to Basra. We went to Ammara. We went to Baghdad for our market researches. So they are aware of everything that is happening. They live here, so they live like you and me. That's one. Number two is we still have local people. We have local graphic designers, we have local copywriters, we have local social media managers. And when we do ideas or do a product launch or do a strategy, it's not just one person doing it, it's the whole team doing it. So of course, we will make sure it's very localized. And that's why international brands that we have, some are actually choosing us, because we tell them we will localize your brand for you. We'll make sure the communication we do would be what makes people tick.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, my last question is like there's a saying that says the student should turn out to be better than the teacher. In future terms, do you see your agency would turn out better than Leo Burnett's one?
Okay, this is an interesting question. In terms of being better than Leo Burnett, you can never be better than Leo Burnett. Maybe the other agencies, the big ones, MEMAC, Ogilvy, JWT, can be better, because Leo Burnett is a company that spends billions of dollars on research, tools, expertise, and the way they work is they work as a network. So if you're an employee in Suleimania and you have a new client coming from Brazil, you could just simply email the Brazil team, Leo Burnett, and tell them, I want information on this company. I want information on their mindset. I want 1, 2, 3. So we worked as a network. So you can never, as an independent agency that we are now, you can never be as good or as powerful as them when it comes to that. However, Leo Burnett also came with some issues where it's international companies. So there were certain policies they would never, ever change for Iraq. And for example, all creative work we did had to go back to Dubai to be approved by a creative director in Dubai. And this guy would sometimes have ideas that were too advanced for a country like Iraq. So the advantage we have here is we can be as local as we can, using the prior knowledge we had with Leo Burnett. But the disadvantage, of course, is we don't have a network. We're not a huge agency that has tools and offices and arms everywhere in the world. So it depends on how you look at it. We can never be as good as them, but we can be better when it comes to doing very, very local and localized solutions for our clients.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have 10 minutes left for one last question from Muhammad. So please feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the feedback and thank you for your nice presentation and
Thank you.
this opportunity from 51 Labs. And actually, I have one question. One of my question was asked from Dear Truth. And as a student, we have worked as a group in university to create a new product, a new, let's say, company. And we was about to finding a problem and then make it a business so we have ended up with so many let's say solution to make to business, but uh, about 2 weeks we just think about that, is it like which one is more attractive to create a new need or new product, or addressing the existence products. So we finally get we didn't ask any entrepreneurial and any expertise, but as our thoughts, as our empathy, we found that creating a new one is more attractive to the peoples, to the community. But then actually we thought about that there is like people are always waiting for the new ones. So after our product, after our company has been established, then the peoples were looking for the new ones. So I would like to ask really, as your experience addressed that and mentioned it, so which one do you think is more attractive, addressing an existing product or creating a new product? Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for the question. Very interesting. I'll tell you how I see it. It can be both. Both have the same usually, but usually, like you said, it's a lot more attractive in the beginning to do something new, something that hasn't been done before. However, the trick with this one is you have to invest a lot in innovating all the time, because you can still be the first, but that doesn't mean you'll be the best. Let's take Lezu and Brissima, for example. Brissima was a Nanbana. These apps were done way before Lezu was done. They were the first, and they taught people how you can do food delivery. You no longer have to go to the restaurant or call them directly. You just do it through an app, and this was good. And this is what you're saying. They created, obviously, the need. They didn't create the need because this was already there in other countries, but it didn't happen here. So for us, it was new. But then what happened? They're stuck in the past. They did this app, which has a very, very bad design. It has a very bad user experience. It's very slow, hardly compatible with today's phones. But they taught the people what they need. It's like the smartphone that Apple did, and they came out with the iPad. So then Lezu comes along with much better marketing team. And if you look at this Facebook and Instagram pages, they do a lot better content. And it's a much better app, and they just overtook them because they are better than them. So as Brissima, what they should have done is, when you try something new, it's really good. You should try something new, because there's always others who fill in the needs of people. You should create a new one, but you should keep on innovating. You shouldn't just stick with what you have and say, okay, I'm happy now. I'm just going to start taking the profit and put it in my pocket and go buy a Range Rover, for example. You should keep on investing on making it better. And it's the same principle we're applying at BrickLane. Even though we have a good team, we have the necessary tools in place. Whenever we have clients, we get new funds. We don't actually take any of it. We just reinvest. We hire more people. We buy more tools. We spend it back on improving the business, because you're not at a level where you can start taking in profit or relaxing too early. So you have to keep on innovating. And this is my advice. Go for the new thing, but keep on innovating and think of ahead what kind of features I can add next. And you can bet companies, product manufacturers, they know what features they're going to add to their phones, cars, and whatever for the next 10 years. And they're just going to give it to you slowly, one by one, because they need to keep that innovative edge. And that's what you should do. There shouldn't be one objective to meet. There should be an aim or a vision, and you should have objectives every year. So this year I established, I am the new one. And then and if you're starting something with apps, you're going to have tons of data, user habits, usage, people's behavior. You're going to collect all this. And then you should use this to improve continuously, month by month, year by year. That's how it happens. That's why all the big companies, they keep on improving. Otherwise, you will fail. Like Nokia did, for example. They didn't innovate. They didn't keep up with the trends. They just let someone like Apple and come and take over when they were the kings of everything. But then they failed miserably because they didn't innovate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Shvan, for this amazing, informative session. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. This was our last public event for 2020. And I think we ended it on a great note. And we will all see you in 2021. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.